And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've got some big news that has erupted this morning. Now, after the £40 billion tax raid, of course, last year, at the last budget, Rachel Reeves said that there was no need to come back with a budget like that ever again. We'll never do that again, she said in her own words. However, now the Chancellor this morning has stated that more tax rises are coming. As always, guys, we are going to be breaking this down, watching this Muppet speak in a video and breaking it all down as such. But as always, guys, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. Let's get over to the videos and to social media. So as you can see, a lot of it coming up this morning that Rachel Reeves has admitted new tax hikes will be coming as a part of her autumn budget. It's the first time the Chancellor publicly confirmed tax rises are on the cards in the budget, which is set to be delivered on November 26th. Rachel Reeves is, of course, set to arrive in Washington DC today for talks at the International Monetary Fund after it warned UK inflation is set to surge to the highest in the G7 in 2025-2026. Now let's get over to this video interview, which is going to make you angry. Remember, this is what she's all about, just lying constantly, but let's hear it from her words herself, shall we?
Are your taxes about to go up? This is what the Chancellor told me.
Of course, we're looking at tax and spending as well.
In an exclusive interview, Rachel Reeves has gone further than ever before, admitting that tax rises and spending cuts are on the cards in the budget.
There are tax rises coming down the track.
Yeah, but I think that this
Yes.
government are making, in terms of the ambition of this government, it is big.
But
we've
you
got to
agreed, yes,
always-
there are tax rises coming down
Well,
the track.
I was really clear during the general election campaign, and we discussed this many times, that I would always make sure that the numbers add up.
So what does this mean for you? Well, the government's been clear that it's not going to break its manifesto commitments and increase taxes on working people, but it also said after the last budget that it wasn't going to come back for more.
Can you promise the British people you're not going to get stuck in a doom loop of having to go through this cycle every year of having to find more tax to fill
I
the
think
black hole?
nobody wants that cycle to end more than I do, Sam. That's why
Will it end this year?
That is why we're putting all the effort into growing our economy, because that, in the end, is what brings in the tax revenues to be able to afford to keep taxes low.
How are they going to sell it to voters who already dislike them, blaming it on Brexit?
Austerity, Brexit, and the ongoing impact of Liz Truss's mini budget, all of those things have weighed heavily on the UK economy. But there is no doubting that the impact of Brexit is severe and long-lasting.
But it was Brexit voters that put Rachel Reeves in the building behind me. 10 years on from the referendum, will these arguments really wash?
No, they won't. As stated, she raised taxes by £40 billion last year and said that she wouldn't raise taxes again. She lied, Labour lied. You can't trust these individuals. They literally said that. They've already wrecked the economy as well. They've killed off jobs and, of course, pushed up borrowing and doubled inflation. The place is an absolute mess, and it shows no signs of slowing down. As you can see here, Mel Stride said last year Rachel Reeves raised taxes by £40 billion. She said she wouldn't come back for more. Now the Chancellor has confirmed she's about to break her promise. Rachel Reeves doesn't need to raise taxes. She needs to get a grip of government spending, including the welfare bill. Good point. But no doubt the tax doom loop is down to the Chancellor's economic mismanagement. Under Rachel Reeves, we have seen inflation double, debt balloon, borrowing costs at a set 27-year high, and taxes up, with more pain on the way in the autumn. A theme is emerging. When the numbers don't add up, it's never Rachel Reeves' fault, but it's always your family that pays the price. Fact. Now, whatever you think about the Tories, again, I'm not a supporter of the Tories as such, but he makes a very, very good point here with regard to her. She can never take accountability, and it's always somebody else's fault every single time. As you can see here, unemployment at a 4-year high, inflation highest in the G7, growth downgraded weeks before the budget, highest energy prices in the world, and taxes about to go up again. How has Rachel Reeves still got a job? She is literally destroying the economy and is the worst Chancellor of the Exchequer in history. But more to the point, she can't take accountability. I always think great leaders can take accountability in their actions. Hers is always blame. Last year it was the Tories, this year, of course, now it's Brexit. Shut the fuck up and just get on with the work that you're doing. Completely crippling this country, and now she's going out to the United States, to Washington, as you can see, now saying that the UK is a beacon of prosperity in Europe. However, no, it's not washing anymore. It isn't washing whatsoever. How could you go out to the United States and say that? It just is bullshit. Let's see what they said with regard to this black hole from Rachel Reeves' perspective.
Look, I've got so much to say on this. Before Susie says anything about 14 years, I just want to get in a couple of things, and that is that the black hole was actually 9 billion. Rachel Reeves invented the 22 billion and then herself, through her own actions, over doubled it by 147% to 50 billion within less than 12 months.
Sounds like you're quite good at maths, mate. You're like being Chancellor.
That's incredible. I could do it. I've got as much experience as the rest. But if you are going to invent a black hole, if you're going to talk down the country, if you're going to tax people to death, or apply student economics on a national level, you are going to drive the country to this precipice that we find ourselves in now. And as much as I want to blame the Tories for taking us to where we did, because 14 years saw very little growth when there was opportunity for growth if you take out a COVID, Labour have taken a bad situation and made it worse through arrogance, because they genuinely believed they knew what they were doing. They genuinely believed that the Tories didn't know what they were doing, and it turns out that their fiscal conservatism that the Tories applied over their 14 years kept us from the moments that we're in now.
Rachel from accounts. That's it. Simple as that. Is Rachel from accounts. She has no idea what she's doing, and look at it. I mean, they're trying to bubble wrap this shit again. And now also going out to the US to say that we're a beacon of stability. BS.
Is she saying
Is Rachel Reeves delusional?
Is she saying beacon of whatever it is, prosperity in Europe? Because we are projected to do better than the EU this year, which is a slightly cheery thought. And also next year, if you take these projections seriously, which I don't particularly. I mean, look, the reality of the situation is that she's making a mess of things, Rachel Reeves, which I think is a shame, because she has a very large majority, or the government has a very large majority. And I think she and most people know what needs to be done. And she's just failed to do it. We've got higher inflation than the rest of Europe. That is true. And that is why the government's borrowing costs are higher than the rest of Europe. And we need to be dealing with the deficit, dealing with the debt. If we don't, we're going to have tax rises in a month's time. One of the problems with Rachel Reeves is she keeps talking the economy down and flying these kites for endless different tax rises, which just put off investments. So we've got business confidence at a very low level. Unemployment is rising, largely, I think, thanks to the national insurance rise earlier this year. And these to me are unforced errors, Patrick.
But this is the point. So the rate of UK unemployment rose to 4.8% in 3 months to August. It's up from 4.7%. The point there being that it's increasing, and it's at a 4-year high. Does she not have to take some responsibility for this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a big mistake to put the national insurance rate up, particularly on employers. If she had to put it up, I think actually she would be better off putting it on employees. We should only have taken employees back to where we were 18 months ago or so, and wouldn't have this effect on unemployment. And you have to remember that the unemployment figures are enormously masked by the huge amount of, let's face it, manipulation and more or less fraud in the disability benefit figures, which have gone through the roof in the last 2 or 3 years, as I'm sure you talked about on the show before. But look, we were spending now, the welfare bill in real terms has gone up £45 billion in 2 years. That is your black hole and more right there. If we could just get a grip on this, which I think is fairly easy to do. Kemi Badenoch, in her speech last week at the Tory conference, said we just need to restrict these benefits to people who have got real, tangible, provable kind of physical ailments. That would have a huge effect, not just on cutting the deficit, but on getting people back to work and thereby growing the economy.
So Rachel Reeves is going to pitch the UK as a, quote, beacon of stability. She's meeting her counterparts at the G20. I Is this not quite laughable? Because I was looking then, this statement was embargoed, so we kind of just got it. So I wanted to see, right, how is the UK press reacting to this so far? And it has been called laughable. It's been branded as desperate by some people as well. I mean, is it kind of gaslighting on steroids a bit, this, really, Chris?
It's quite an odd thing to say, certainly. I mean, I know she has to defend her record, and 1.3% GDP growth isn't that bad in this day and age. We've got such low horizons, and as I say, it is better than the EU, which incidentally is going to be awkward for her in the budget, because I gather her argument in the budget is that it's Brexit that ruined the British economy.
Yes.
And now she's saying that we're a beacon of light and prosperity in Europe. So I don't know exactly what she's thinking, to be quite honest with you. But the reality is, you've already given the facts and figures, haven't you? Unemployment's going up. The economy has done a little bit better than I expected this year, frankly. I thought we might see a recession. We may still see a recession, but you've got to look at these underlying figures about, the number of people out of work for various different reasons, and business confidence and investment in the country. She's just really messing things up in a way she doesn't need to, and shaking the confidence of industry.
You're right, and again, just as Chris was saying there, watch out for the simultaneous argument that the reason that our economy's in the toilet has nothing to do with her, it's because of Brexit, but the reason to be cheerful is that we are doing better than the rest of the EU. Remarkable stuff, isn't it? Mental gymnastics there. Christopher, thank you so much, as ever, Christopher Snowden there.
As we've already seen just there in the video we just discussed, that is literally going to be what you're going to hear throughout through the autumn budget. Literally just saying that, well, we're doing better than the EU, but you have to blame Brexit, you need to blame Farage, you need to blame these. This is the reason why we're in this mess. Remember last year it was the Tories, I can't remember the 29 billion pound black hole, whatever it was, that she was going on about. But simply, we could be a better country overnight by stopping these illegals coming in, firstly. Secondly, of course, getting up to the North Sea oil reserves. That would, of course, bring our energy prices massively down. And then, of course, stop fucking alienating ideally one of the biggest inventors in the world right now in modern day history, Elon Musk, and putting off people and companies from actually investing within the United Kingdom. That would make a lot of sense. But guys, do let me know your thoughts on the imminent tax rises within the UK. Do let me know your thoughts on Rachel Reeves. She's a buffoon, isn't she? And yeah, thank you. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.